In this optimization problem, we want to determine the minimum slope of a graph. At what point will the slope of the function x cubed minus 3x plus 1 be the least? What is the minimum slope? So step one is we want to minimize the slope. So we have to come up with the slope function. Well, the slope of the graph, slope of the tangent line, is the derivative. So we simply take the derivative of the equation. So 3x squared minus 3. Now this quantity, this equation is what we are wanting to minimize. So this is what we need to take the derivative of. Even though we just took a derivative, that first derivative just gives us the equation of that we need to minimize. So we have, don't think of this as a derivative, think of it as a slope function. And so that slope function is in terms of, all in terms of x, just one variable. So we can skip steps 2, 3, and 4 and go straight to 5. So we take the derivative of the slope function. Again, think of this as a slope function. So just as if you were trying to minimize or maximize the area of something, you would take the derivative of the area function. Same thing here, we're trying to minimize the slope function, so we take the derivative of the slope function, which actually happens to be the second derivative, but don't think of it as that just yet. Think of it as just a slope function. We take the derivative of it, 6x, set it equal to 0, so that tells us x equals 0. Now we want to find the point. So this is the x value of the point. Plug this in to the original function. Go back up to here. Plug it into there because we are wanting to find the associated y value for x equals 0. So that gives us the point 0, 1. So this is where the minimum slope occurs. And then what is the minimum slope? Well, go back up to the slope function and plug in x equals 0, and that will give us -3. So here is a graph of the original function, and you can see here, over here, the slope of the tangent line is positive, and it's getting smaller, goes to 0, it gets smaller, and then right here is where it gets the smallest. In other words, the most negative, and that most negative number is -3. And then it starts to flatten out, and then it goes back to positive.